Nina and Chris, you know how I know we are on Sunrise Extra right now?
How do you know?
I can see it on my phone. We are up, we are running on Sunrise Extra Tuesday edition. We have the opportunity, and so we're going to take advantage of this opportunity, Chris and Nina, to head out live to Willamette Valley Country Club because we are embarking on certainly one of our hottest days so far this year. Time will tell if it ends up being one of our hottest days this summer. We are approaching 90 degrees today, and most of the area, at least in the valley, will hit that mark, that 90-degree mark. And Chris, you were talking about the east end of the gorge reaching temperatures that may even get closer to 100. But anyways, what's happening out here on the golf course today is part of a group, part of an effort that's been going on for years now called Golf for Joy. It's a fundraiser for Children's Cancer Association. Eric Patterson is behind the camera this morning. And Eric, I want you to give me a thumbs up because I've never met John Grothy in person. You need to tell me when we're looking right at John. Was the person, that's John right there, correct? Okay. I didn't think it was the person getting into the cart. That gentleman right there.
John right here. He's getting ready to go.
Ooh, don't talk in his backswing.
Okay. And you know what it is? He can't spend a lot of time over the ball today because he's trying to hit 100 holes today.
What you think of that one?
That was a good one for me. We were trying to find my ball for a few minutes there, so we're doing good.
You found it?
We found it right in the rough, but I actually hit it on the green, I think, so it's a pretty good shot.
What's it like out here this morning, being out here?
You know, it's fantastic. It's great being with my fellow golf professionals. We're doing a wonderful charity, Children's Cancer Association. We're doing this for seriously ill children through this pandemic. It's been unbelievably difficult for kids who are facing very, very serious issues. And so it's just an honor for us to be out here and do whatever we can to do our share and to hopefully give back a little bit to the community.
You guys are going to be out here a while.
We're probably going to be doing this for about 10 to 12 hours, which, you know, golf doesn't sound that hard, but it's a lot of work. But we are so honored to be able to do it. And we're just inspired by the kids that are going through this and the families that are going through this and just trying to do everything that we possibly can.
Well, it's especially hard right now with everything going on, and cancer doesn't stop, right?
You're exactly right. Through this pandemic, everything else that we face, you know, a lot of these issues sometimes get put off to the side, but they're in our hearts, they're in our minds, and everything that we can do to make them feel connected to our community, that we're still there with them, that there's still joy in the world, and there's still a lot of things that we can do to help them heal and feel warmth and the joy that CCA brings.
You know,
there you go. Okay, John needs to catch up with the crowd here.
I would love to ask him a couple more questions if we can catch him on the next hole. We're going to hang out here, Eric, for the next 15 minutes or so we can probably catch him teeing off on the next hole for sure. Let's talk, though, about CCA and also Dougy Center, which we mentioned earlier today on our Sunrise Show. Two fantastic nonprofit organizations in our community. And because of John's efforts today for Children's Cancer Association, and because of a couple we learned earlier about on the Sunrise TV show that was walking 40 miles this past weekend to raise money for Dougy Center, we thought maybe our viewers would like to share the nonprofit organization that they are most passionate about, that they care most for today on our stream. And basically, we can put together a list through your live comments, a list of local nonprofits that really deserve people's passion and really deserve people to get behind. So you can let our viewers know how they can support those various organizations. I know for John, he has a personal connection with CCA. So Eric, the next time you're able to grab him and stop him, maybe after he tees off here on this particular hole, we can ask him to share his story because his child and his family was served by Children's Cancer Association and CCA. He can't hear me speaking, so I feel like I can still talk during his swing here. CCA, Nina and Chris, they talk about prescribing joy for families. When families are at some of their darkest times, when their kids are suffering from life-threatening illnesses.
Wow!
Pretty awesome shot, right? I thought he was teeing off, but obviously he was still chipping there, trying to get it into the hole there. I'm not sure what hole he's on, but CCA prescribes joy is how they describe it.
Drew, he's obviously very good because he can pull out a 5-wood through the rough and stick it 20 yards from the pin. That's pretty good.
Well, he's really good. He's the head pro out there at Willamette Valley Country Club in Canby. Whoa, now see that? You can't take that putt for granted.
Well, there you go. If I need a lesson, I'm talking to that guy.
Question, guys.
Can we ask him, Eric, real quickly, just to share his story about his child?
So you unfortunately saw me miss that putt, but you know, every little bit helps, and we're trying to make birdies because every birdie for us is about $100 towards the Cancer Society.
So your family has been touched by this and received help, right? I mean, this is close to you. Yeah,
this is going to get me a little emotional. My son Colton was 14, and we went through a episode of epilepsy that put us in a Dornbeckers for 72 days. And that's where we as a family felt the joy and felt the warm hospitality of CCA. And they came when my son Colton was in a coma and sang to him and brought calm and normalcy to us in the ICU at Dornbecker's. And it was a simple act and a simple song, but what it allowed us to do was have hope and calm and peace at a moment when we had none. The hospital is so sterile and it's such a difficult environment, and we were able to just be a family for a few minutes out of each day. And it was the power of a purple shirt that walked in and gave us that every day, and it was just such a welcoming opportunity for us to get some joy. So we couldn't be more thankful.
I imagine you get emotional to see these people respond to what you're doing for them.
Well, and that's the odd thing. The funny thing is that as I got involved as a parent, the more I'm able to get involved as a golf professional and as a person myself, the more I get to see the mission, the more I get to see what we do and how powerful joy truly is. We even have a staff member, one of my own staff members, who's now involved in programs for CCA and is going to the caring cabin next week. And she's been fighting and battling cancer, and it's just so inspirational to be able to then help her from this side of things and be able to give back. And so you're right, it's an unbelievably great circle of life that we're involved in.
So on a lighter note, give us some tips on the drive, give us some tips on a chipping and the putting.
So I always think that people get too technical with their golf swings, and I want to just make sure that people focus on the target. So it sounds funny, but in baseball, basketball, and everything else, you're focusing on the target. You're looking at where you're trying to send a ball or you're trying to hit something. So that's what we need to do in golf, is not worry so much about what our swing is doing, what our grip is doing, but relax, focus on where we're trying to go, what target we're trying to do, and then be able to execute.
So these are important tips for the viewers, because I've heard that golf is kind of on an upswing.
Yes, and this pandemic is weird. We're actually up 20% as an industry. Golf has had a resurgence because we have found the ability to social distance, to be able to still have community, to still have the ability to get out to nature and have exercise and have those healthy benefits still under these very, very strange times that we're at. So golf is seeing a resurgence, which no one knew how this was going to impact different industries and different things, but golf fortunately has been able to figure it out to be able to still do things very socially and very health consciously. And so it's been fantastic for all of us in the golf industry.
Very nice, John. Thank you for sharing, and let's go make some more money.
Yes, let's go.
John Grothe is the man there with the golf clubs. Eric Patterson, our guy behind the camera this morning, and Eric is following John as he starts his trek today. He started right around 6 o'clock this morning, and by the end of the day, he will play more than 100 holes of golf out there at Willamette Valley Country Club in Canby, a golf marathon to support Children's Cancer Association. Yeah, he shared some of those golf tips, Chris and Nina, but really what we're hoping today is that people share some of their favorite nonprofits in the area. We know there are so many, and we know about all the local businesses that have been hit so hard during this tough time. Well, nonprofits are no different, right? So they really need our help right now. You can fill up our stream, whether it's on Facebook or Twitter or on YouTube. You can fill it up with the nonprofit that you feel most passionately about, and let your fellow viewers know how they can support those nonprofits. We have a lot of people watching this morning. And Brittany is absolutely right when she says, ooh, it's going to be a hot one today. She says, good job to the guys out there on the golf course. Sounds like an amazing cause. And CCA, Children's Cancer Association, is an amazing cause.
Drew, I love watching you slip into your MC persona, because you are so good at it. You do so much work for, so many charities and good causes, hosting events and raising money and doing auctions. So I'm loving you taking charge of this and letting people know about this. I was when I lived over in Bend, I was on the local chapter board for SMART, Start Making a Reader Today, that pairs up kids in elementary school with adults to kind of help them get to be better readers in their off time, and they kind of pull them out of class and read with those kids and have kids read to them. So I loved that organization. I love animal organizations too. I've just been so dang busy with this morning show, I haven't been able to volunteer in the Portland area. What about you, Chris?
One of the organizations that I've actually had the privilege of taking part in with their fundraisers, a Taste of Style PDX. That's actually their Instagram handle, and they have, for the last several years, have been raising funds for the Oregon Food Bank through a judging of fantasy hair. So they're combining the hairstylist profession here across the Portland metro area. Chris Vandehee is the head of that. He runs a salon in downtown Portland in Style and Second. And he's been doing this for several years now. We've actually had him on the Sunrise Show. We've had him on when we did Portland Today, showing these wild hairstyles. And it was all just, fun in recognizing the students that are out there producing these hairstyles. And then, of course, raising money for the Oregon Food Bank, which, of course, is another one of the list and on and on and on and on of nonprofits that could certainly use all of our help right now. Could always use our help, but especially now.
Nonprofits, the topic of conversation today, and I don't know what Eric's shot, Eric Patterson, our photographer, I don't know what his shot looks like at any given time, but Byron, our director, feel free to dip in there. There's Eric riding the golf cart, trying to keep up with John Grothe. John is the head pro at Willamette Valley Country Club there in Canby, and he's also playing those 100-plus holes today to raise money for Children's Cancer Association. Earlier today on our Sunrise TV show, yes, Chris?
Is John walking?
Absolutely.
Is John walking the course as he goes? I didn't notice that.
Oh, isn't he driving the cart that
Eric is? And I'm
in?
bringing that up because
I think he hopped on the back of Eric's cart there.
Maybe he is. Okay, I was going to say, I was going to give him props for walking 100 holes. Do you know how much walking that is?
That's a long
on a hot day like today. Anyway, go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail your heartfelt speech there.
Listen, I've never played a marathon round of golf, but I have watched Gay Davis do this. Now, Gay is a longtime supporter of CCA. He does this every year out of Pumpkin Ridge, and he's planning to do it again in August. And I've watched him do this, and he is Gay is. I'm just going to put it this way, Gay. Hopefully, you're not offended by this. He's getting up there in age. He's becoming one of our senior citizens, if you will, and Gay walks the entire time that he does those 100-plus holes, and he actually gets to the ball in some ways quicker because he never has to deviate from the path. He keeps hitting the ball straight and keeps walking that straight line and never really gets off his pace. He carries a couple of clubs in his hands and he goes.
So the average hacker like you and I would probably walk about 4 or 5 miles during a round of golf. So
I'd have to walk through the lake.
100 holes, that's a 20-mile, 22-mile day of walking if you were to do that.
I'd be walking through the woods. It would not be a fun walk if I was trying to do this myself without the cart. You're right. But another nonprofit that we talked about on the Sunrise TV show was the Dougy Center. And we brought this up earlier. Now, Director Byron, I don't know if you have this video ready to go. You can find it if you need to. But we had the story, Nina and Chris, about the couple that has done this now for several years in a row. I want to say 6. And there they are again. The couple that has now walked all day long, from sunup until sundown, every year on the first day of summer, which of course is also the longest day of the year. This year, that sunup until sundown walk covered 40 miles of neighborhoods in Portland, and they do this for the Dougy Center, which is another fantastic organization worth mentioning this morning because the Dougy Center helps out young kids and their families when they're grieving from the loss of a loved one. And I have had a chance to interact with that organization, and I've seen their center where kids can go to really reflect. And I don't know what it's like to lose a parent at a young age, and now that I'm an adult, I'll never know what that feels like. But I can only imagine, and I've seen what that organization, the Dougy Center, does for those young kids to help get through the loss of a parent, the loss of a sibling, some of the most tragic experiences you can imagine. They are a great nonprofit that, again, could use our support right now. So if our viewers have others, please share them with us.
Yeah. Chris, can you give us an update? He's going to be golfing all day, and it is going to be one of the hottest days of the year. We've already hit 90, you said, at the end of May. What are we forecasted for today?
91. Yeah. So we hit 91 on May 28th. I had to actually go and confirm the date. I knew it was late May somewhere in there. I just didn't remember exactly. 91 we hit at PDX on May 28th. And we've got 90 in our forecast today. And by the way, parts of the gorge, especially the East Gorge, get out towards the Dalles, the Arlington area, getting into the Columbia Basin, we could easily be up near the century mark today for one day. And then the valley cools down tomorrow, so it's kind of a one-day shot of heat. And then it looks like we're back to our regularly scheduled summer, which, by the way, We've had some real hot summers the last several years. Last year, though, we only hit 90 degrees 11 times. Normal's about 12 so far this year. If we do it today, that'll be 2. Going back to the summer of 2018, 31 90-degree days. Before that, we were 24, 25 back in 2015, or 29 in 2015. So I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers out there, but the bottom line is if you don't like heat, you probably would like to root for a summer like we had last year as opposed to the previous year. So far we're on an even keel with the 90-degree tally.
Oh boy.
We have Destiny Johnson, one of the All-Star
That's
staff
probably
members.
me. What did I say?
No, Destiny Johnson is you?
Yeah, doesn't have the KGW logo.
Oh, I thought that was Destiny, like the actual Destiny Johnson that
No,
works
it's
here.
because I have to log in as her on
Oh, my
my
goodness.
work. What does it say?
I just thought it was her saying good morning to you.
Oh, now I said good morning, Dash Nina.
That makes absolutely no sense to the average person looking
I
at this
know.
stream. I do know that Jared.
Good morning, Nina.
I know that Jared on our web team is watching this morning, and he is chiming in from the KGW TV account. Jared, thanks for throwing up that Dougy Center website. It is simply www.dougy.org. I always like to mention the CCA website, and that's where we started this morning talking about Children's Cancer Association, because we have a man on the course right now at Willamette Valley Country Club. His name is John Grothy, the head pro out there, and he is walking or riding a cart, regardless. He's playing 100 holes today to raise money for CCA, and the Children's Cancer Association website is one that can be forgotten because it's kind of unique. It is joyrx.org. So if you want to help out CCA, go to joyrx.org. We can watch one more shot here. How about off the tee, Nina and Chris, and then we will wrap up today's edition of Sunrise Extra. So let's make this a good one, John Grothy.
He's got the big stick out. Where are we going?
I've never been able to follow the golf ball on TV while watching golf, and I was not able to follow that one. So can't we just assume that it was awesome? Can't we just end on that high
Beautiful
note?
morning out there. I love seeing the sunshine, though.
That for sure. That is the scene in Canby this morning. We know it's going to be hot throughout the valley and throughout the area today on this Tuesday, the 23rd. We say thank you for watching Sunrise Extra, and we're back with you again tomorrow.
Bye.